And in fact, the numbers since the summer are not the highest on record. That, unfortunately, was his legacy.
Well, I'm going to do a little lecture. If you really want this attack on each other, can you do it before we get to topicals?
Oh dear, now did our Yvette Cooper give our Chris Philp a crash course on the small boat crossings? Well, during yesterday's topicals for the Home Office in the House of Commons, our new Shadow Home Secretary talked about a subject that no longer is their safe space.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, let me start by offering the Home Secretary a belated congratulations on her appointment. Having been a minister in that department, I know how difficult her job is, and I genuinely wish her well in doing it. We will always seek to work constructively with the government in the national interest. I also associate myself with the remarks she made about International Vorg Day. Mr. Speaker, since the election, 19,988 people have dangerously and illegally crossed the Channel, a 23% increase on the same period last year. Why does she think the numbers have gone up so much on her watch?
Well, I thank the Shadow Home Secretary for his opening words. I think he described his time in the Home Office as his best ministerial job ever, which, given that he was the Chief Secretary under Liz Truss, you can perhaps wonder why, Mr. Speaker. He was the Immigration Minister who, I might remind him, told the Commons and the Select Committee that he wouldn't rule out using giant wave machines as the way to stop small boat crossings. Mr. Speaker, we inherited record high levels of small boat crossings in the first half of this year. We have taken action to fix their chaos.
I'm asking the Home Secretary about her record. I'm asking the Home Secretary about why small boat crossings have gone up during her time in office. Perhaps it's because, as the National Crime Agency said, we need a deterrent. Yet she cancelled the Rwanda deterrent before it even started. And now we hear Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission President, asking European member states to look at offshore processing. Isn't that the reason why it's gone up? And isn't that the reason why the immigration minister sat over there is admitted last week she is opening up new hotels instead of closing them down?
Well, Mr. Speaker, seriously, what a lot of chaos. Highest level on record was the last 6 months of the last Conservative government while he was in government. And in fact, the numbers since the summer are not the highest on record. That, unfortunately, was his legacy. And while he was the Immigration Minister, he increased the number of asylum hotels 500% and increased the number of people in asylum hotels by over 900%. So seriously, he should not try and give lectures to anybody else at all.
Well, I'm going to do a little lecture. If you really want this attack on each other, can you do it before we get to topicals? They're meant to be short and sweet because other members won't get in.
Now, there's a number of things that I find quite odd about this line of questioning. Firstly, why are you still talking about people coming over here on small boats? Isn't that the reason why Reform are where they are now, and look at the mess they actually did make of all this when they were in power in the first place? And secondly, what did our Chris Phibbs think Yvette Cooper was going to say? Oh yeah, you've got me with a brilliant zinger, Chris, there. Maybe I should resign. Oh, of course, she's just going to recite the mess that people like you, Chris Phibbs, and others who worked in the Home Office when the Tories were in power had left them. It's not rocket science, is it? And lastly, do the Tories actually think that after 14 years of Tory rule and gruel, the public will just forget about that and just blame a Labour government of just 5 months for this? And even if they did, they wouldn't trust this shower of incompetence to deal with it anyway, would they? But what do you guys think? Let me know down below, and if you enjoy everything, House of Commons and Select Committee meetings, like and subscribe, and I shall just bid you farewell and take care, my friends.